Okay, so you're going to see a little bit of the tripod right here in the corner. I apologize. There's nothing I can do. I mean, there probably is, but I don't know if there is. Anyhow, I'm not even going to ramble about that. So, hi. This is going to be my February TBR. There are 10 books on it. And of course, if I read anything that's not on the TBR, that'll be at the end of the month and you'll see that. But this is what I'm choosing to read for the month of February. Some of these books have been on my bookshelves forever. Some, like this, got on there. This month, you'll see it in a book haul. But anyhow, I guess since it's in my hand, let's start with it. So, Natasha Preston, The Fear. I've read, I think, like one or two books from her. Well, is it two or one? Two, I think. I like her writing. I like her storylines. I like her just overall how she does books. So, The Fear is definitely one I'm looking forward to. Books 2 and 3 of the Carlisle trilogy. We've got, and they're by Stephanie Garber. So we've got Legendary, and we've got Finale. I can't remember when I bought those, but I bought them from a case. I don't remember buying them from a case, but apparently I did because the stickers were on there anyhow. I liked book 1, and I look forward to reading these. Also, this year I plan on, and they'll only be in my book haul, I plan on putting prices of what I paid for books in my book haul and then give a total at the end of the video. Won't do that on TBRs because some of these books have been on my shelves forever and I don't remember prices, so there's that. This was a duology. It's the Androma series, or the Androma saga. I think that's, yeah, the Androma saga. This is book 2. This is Nexus. I was very hesitant about going into this. Well, hesitant's the wrong word. Like, I bought them a while back. I don't remember when. I wanted to read them. And I read, you'll see it in my reading wrap up. I read the first one. What's the first one called? Like, seriously, what's the first one called? Zenith. I have them out already in my bookshelf. I have them off my shelves. They're right here on the floor behind me. I could not think of the first book to save my life. But this one's Nexus. These two are by a duo. Well, I don't have their names listed on the sheet, and I'm an idiot because their names are on the book. Sasha Alsberg and Lindsay Cummings. I know she was a YouTuber. I think I've seen one of her videos before. I don't know if she still does YouTube. Don't know if Lindsay Cummings does YouTube, but anyhow. Looking forward to finishing the duology. And then we've got Crooked Kingdom. I am so excited to read this. Like, I read Six of Crows, and oh my god, I loved it. I'll talk about that in my reading wrap-up. But what I will say in this TBR is, I know a lot of people say that you don't have to read the Shadow and Bone trilogy to read Six of Crows, and part of me agrees with that, but a part of me doesn't agree with that, because there's certain characters, if you want to get to, there's a couple characters that are in the original trilogy, not the original trilogy, but the Shadow and Bone trilogy. I will say this, and again, because I've got Six of Crows and Born and Rising for my reading wrap-up video, I won't go too much here, but I will say this, just in case you see this video and not that one, that with the first book, Shadow and Bone, it was just okay. The second one, I struggled, and I almost DNF'd it. And then but then the end of it, I'm like, oh, okay. And then the third one was okay. And it was better than the second one. But I almost DNF'd after, in the middle of the second one. Like, overall, it was okay. But for me, it was something missing. And I was like, okay, I'm not feeling this. Am I glad I read it? Yeah, I'm glad I finally read it, because these books have been on my shelves forever. But Six of Crows, I like so much better. Not just the storyline. And yeah, I understand it's the same author, but the writing style seems different. Maybe it's all in my head. I don't know. But I do like the storyline better. Again, I shouldn't have to say this. I think everybody knows these books by now, but the author is Leigh Bardugo. But Six of Crows, oh my gosh, I loved it so much. And I can't wait to read Crooked Kingdom. Okay, enough gushing. Moving forward. Lore, Alexander Bracken. I cannot look at this cover. Some people see beauty in this cover. I cringe. Nothing against the artwork. The artwork, they did great. They did really, really good drawing. However they did it. But the reason that I cringe is because, do you see what's on top of her head? Yeah, biggest fear. I don't want to see real life ones. I don't want to see them on pictures. I don't want to see them on videos. I don't want to see them in a book. Yeah, so, but I am going to finally read it. I don't know what made me buy it. I think because I read one of her series and I loved that series. And I think she's a good author. Okay, you know what? We're going to move this now. And when I go to read it, I'm taking the jacket off. I'm taking the dust jacket off. But we're going to put it way over there. Stephen King, Just After Sunset. Now, I know, this is an unpopular opinion. But I'm going to say it anyway. A lot of people love Stephen King. I don't think I'm going to be one of them because... Okay, so this isn't the book's fault. I read the first Stephen King book I ever read was a few years ago, and it was The Colorado Kid. I watched a show on Netflix called Tremors. And yes, that incorporated The Colorado Kid, but it had a whole bunch of other stuff. The whole bunch of other stuff I really, really liked. So I ended up getting this book because I knew the show was loosely based on the book. I figured the book would reference that extra stuff. It didn't. It was basically The Colorado Kid, an interview between somebody and two newspaper people. It was okay. I read it. I don't remember my 100% thoughts on it. No. They may be on Goodreads. Well, no. Yeah, I know for a fact they're on Goodreads. However, in that review on Goodreads, I loved that book. Looking back, I don't remember loving that book. I did love the show, though, anyhow. So, and you'll see this in my reading wrap-up. I also read this month, for January, I read The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon. His books are typically, I'm guessing they all are. They're horror. With what that book was about, I kept waiting for the horror to kick in, and it never did for me. I will discuss that in more detail in the reading wrap-up. I will also say... And this defeats the purpose of my TBR right now for February, but I'm going to say this anyway. I did start it at one point. I can't remember when it was, but it was a while ago. And I couldn't get very far because, I don't know, something about the beginning. And maybe it gets better, maybe it don't. Maybe I just don't like Stephen King's books. I don't know. I do remember a couple years ago, I can't remember when it was, somebody on YouTube had said that if you can get past... I think she said 150 pages, it gets better. I'm just not trying to do that. I've got so many other books that I need to read off my shelves. Plus so many other books that I want to buy. I'm not going to sit here and force myself to get to that point to see if it in fact gets better. And yes, I do have several more books on my bookshelves. I don't know if I'm going to read this, see how I feel about this, to determine whether I keep those other Stephen King books or just get rid of them. Because, I mean, if I've read several by him and I'm not into it, then what's the point? Now, I will admit, The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon, it was okay. But, I mean, I could have done without it. If something's going to be classified as horror, then it should be horror. I didn't get that. Now, again, if something like that would happen in real life, then yeah, I see it. Because for a parent, that would be a horror story. That's a worst parent's nightmare for your child to be lost. And for a child that young, it would be scary for her. But books, especially what I read, they're fiction. I want the drama and the horror and all the things, you know? And I didn't get it. So, and I can't remember my rating for that one. You'll get it in the reading wrap-up. But anyway, again, unpopular opinion. I'm just starting to think Stephen King's an author. Not for me. Lisa Unger. This book is Blackout. I've never read anything by her. So I'm finally going to pick up this one. Got it from McKay's a while back. I'm finally picking it up. Gonna see if I like the author. If I like the author and her writing style, maybe I'll try something else from hers. If it's just okay, or I feel worse than just okay about it, I'm just not gonna. And I have been better about DNFing. So if I can't get into this, it gets DNF'd and I won't think twice about it. Well, that's the plan. Sometimes my brain won't allow me to DNF, other times it does. John Grisham, Rogue Lawyer. His books are iffy for me. I remember a time when I loved John Grisham. But it does take me a minute here lately it takes me a minute to get into his book. I can't remember what I read last, but I did like it. It just took me a minute to get into it. And then the last book on my February TBR, Along for the Ride, Sarah Destin. I like her books. I do. It's just, I think sometimes it's like at first, when I first start, it's like, okay, how do I feel about this? Do I like it? Do whatever? And I end up liking it, obviously. But anyway, hopefully I didn't ramble too much. This is my 10 books I plan on reading for February. Hopefully you liked the video. If you did, please subscribe. Let me know if you've read any of these. Let me know if you plan to read any of these. And just overall, let me know your thoughts and opinions. Have a great day.